Hello, everyone. This is funny, but at the same time, it's not funny. It just goes down to show the whole tragedy that Nigeria is currently is. And this is Sahara Reporters with this exclusive that Tinubu's VIP police withdrawal directive fails as officers disguised as vigilantes and private drivers pay bribes to resume duty. Before I even go into the news itself, because this is something I don't know whether I've mentioned it in one of my videos, though I've not been writing as much on Twitter because before that's why I'll just put out some of these thoughts. But I think I mentioned it, but I'm not too sure about that. I've thought about it to say, as much as that it's just so easy for Tinubu to be able to make that pronouncement and say no more VIP. And it's a good pronouncement, by the way. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing to do because you can't have a good number of our security in the hands of VIPs guarding people. You see police guarding a Yahoo boy. Police are even guarding criminals. You see police fighting police over who it is that they are guarding. So that's, for me, that's a good thing to have done. But when you look at it deeply and you look at how much is it that a Nigerian police man or woman is paid, it is not a living wage. They can't use it to feed themselves. They can't use it to pay their children's school fees. They can't use it to do the basic things of life. Then how do you expect them to survive? By doing this VIP work, they are not collecting bribe. At least they are being paid daily. Daily, there's a certain amount that they receive, or monthly or something, depending on who they are attached to. And so they get to get some small money given to them, their feeding taken care of, daily money that they would then be able to use to take care of the expenses of their families. If we now take away that right and they don't have it, what are they supposed to do? Rob? Use their guns and force people? Kidnap? Because these are also things that have to be taken into consideration. Because when you are putting, that's the thing about policies. When you put in policies, sometimes there are repercussions that you did not think about. You have to be able to map it all through and say, okay, hope by putting in this, it's not going to affect something else. If we put in this policy, what is it that we need to do to mitigate certain things that might come out of the policies that we are putting in place? And I don't think it has this, of course, Tinubu does not have the capacity to sit down and intellectually interrogate something and ensure that an informed decision is made. He looks at how does he feel in a particular day, and he opens his mouth, wow, and he says whatever it is that he needs to say. That's not how you govern. You have to look at everything, every action that is being taken. You have to be able to map it to the least factor or least participant or least person that will be affected. You have to put it in a way that nobody is affected, that it ends up being for the betterment rather than it causing some problems beyond what you have thought about. So I have thought about this and said, but it's okay, who now pays them? So a policeman that was maybe earning an extra 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 that he will use to solve the problem of his family. Now you've withdrawn that and say he go back to the field. First of all, you need to train this because some of them have been in VIP, whatever. They don't even know what to do again in real combat situations or in action, situation. So you need to do a bit of retraining. I've not heard any conversation being said over them being retrained. Apart from the retraining, this loss of funds, this loss of money that they get, which is legitimate money, is different from the one standing by the roadside and collecting bribe. What then happens to them? How is it going to be augmented? What would they have to fill in that gap? These are some of the things that leadership will force you to think about, because you have to think about everybody and the betterment of everybody. But having said that, it's not trying to make excuses for them, but just putting things on the ground, on the table, the way it is. According to the sources, some police officers affected by the withdrawal of order have resorted to wearing uniforms of vigilante groups and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps to evade detection while continuing their duties as before. The directive by the Nigeria police force to withdraw police attached to private individuals and VIPs have been widely undermined, with officers reportedly returning to duty through disguises, bribery, and administrative manipulation. Credible sources have told Sahara reporters. Because another thing that is going to happen is that this might also open up a channel of corruption, because a lot of their officers and whatever are now going to be collecting bribes. When you send them to go and detect who is not there, or like the other time we saw police were on the streets checking cars to see if police were on the streets. So it will result to bribing. So when they catch you, you bribe the person and then you continue with whatever it is that you're doing. According to the sources, some police officers have, okay, I've read that before. As part of the recent directive by Bola Tinubu to the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, to withdraw all police personnel from non-essential VIP protection duties, officers were instructed to return to their base and return their service rifles for the deployment to core policing roles. However, Sahara reporters had learned that same weapons have been reissued to the personnel after the payment of as much as 500,000. Can you imagine? Police that is supposed to be preventing corruption is the cesspool of corruption, according to this report. A police officer that paid 500,000, he must get that 500,000 and Jara back now. He must. It's just crazy. Afterward, the officers reportedly resumed duty under informal arrangements. Police officers are now disguising themselves as vigilante and Nigeria Security and Defence Service Corps uniforms to evade the so-called withdrawal order, one of the police sources said. Each officer was instructed to return their service rifle, only to have same rifle reissued after paying 500,000. They then resumed duty as usual. There was even an incident that someone was saying that he had police were on this kind of job, and he was saying to them, shey they've ordered for all of you to be withdrawn. And he said something, say, Tinubu wan comot food for our mouth. So these are some of the things that, you have to look into it when policies are being made. And this is the thing where bad governance is affecting all of us. And the most thing is that when people are protesting, it is the same police that are used to stop that protest, to come after people. It is the same police that will be on the street tear gassing people when people are fighting for good governance. And we are all affected by bad governance. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.